Welcome, everyone, to this very, very special episode because we're recording from two ends of the planet right now. And we've got a very special guest all the way from Canada. And this is a very important topic that I feel like it's really, really important to understand in today's day and age. And Steph is an expert on relationship-based sales and is an extremely successful realtor in Canada. And in chatting with her over the weeks, I just realized so many gems of how she conducts her business. And I just thought this is amazing learning and value that I wanted to share. So over to you, Steph. Tell us something about you, where are you from, something to our audience that they can know where you're from and how we go from here.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. That's so sweet of you. Yeah, so I am from Canada. It's currently the morning for me right now. Um, and yeah, so I got into real estate 7 years ago. I was fresh out of university, one of the younger agents, because traditionally, like this is a, second or third career for a lot of people. And it was a first career for me. So I did find a lot of hurdles just with my age, like my sphere of influence, who they say when you first start, it's like, work that and work all these people. And like, that didn't work for me because we're little 22-year-olds that we're probably not buying a house because I live just outside of Toronto. It is very expensive here and it's hard for first-time buyers to get into the market. And that's what I would have been, right? That was my age. And I just quickly realized all of the old school marketing tactics that they teach you just did not apply. And I was like, you know what? I think there's definitely a better way. And so that's what I did. I set out to build my business a way that worked for me. And now I've helped countless agents do it as well. And that's what it is. It's relationship-based marketing. It's being referral-based. So you're not doing any of that cold outreach and you have way more time for your life and you're not, being busy, hustle, 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 grind 24/7. Like you get to enjoy your life and make six figures plus every year. And it's a really great way to build your business.
That's literally the dream. But I guess give us some context on when you're starting out. What is it like? How did you realize what was not working? And how did you realize that this is the way to go?
So when I first started out, I actually had a cold lead, what you'd call like someone who didn't know me. They just saw my sign, they called me. And right off the bat, it's like, that you don't work well together. Like he was an older gentleman, and I just got the sense it was like, you don't trust what I'm saying because who's this like 20 something year old woman who is trying to help you sell your house? And it was a really big hurdle I found, not only with being in like a male dominated field and my age, but it was when you're working with clients who they don't really know you, right? Like they just called. We didn't really know each other. So that trust isn't there. And they, they don't listen to your advice because the trust isn't there, right? So it's like, okay, I'm going to take what you're saying with a grain of salt and then maybe I can do this better. But it's like, I'm the one that's actually, in this boots on the ground day in, day out. But that was my turning point where I was like, you're just talking to a brick wall at that point. Like they're not trusting your advice at all. They're not listening to anything you say. So you're not going to be able to get them where they need to go.
That must
And
have been hard.
very hard. And I've never been one who wanted to do like the door knocking or the cold calling because all you're doing is the same of that. You're just chasing strangers, you're chasing cold leads. And I was like, everyone says people want to work with who they know, like, and trust. And I was like, okay,
Correct.
well, how do you get people who know, like, and trust you? It's people you have a relationship with.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
that's where I started from was like, you go back to the basics. If people who like, know, and trust you are the ones that want to work with you,
Yeah.
how do you find more of them? And it's
So what
who
was
you
the
have.
first break? Like where did you get the first break where you're just like, okay, I'm on the right track?
So it was in my second year. I I wasn't really like keeping track of it essentially. I was just kind of I didn't really know what I was building, if I'm being honest. Like I was just doing my own thing, like, okay, I need to find people who like, know, trust me. I'll build relationships, that kind of thing. But I didn't have like a system at the time. I didn't even have the right language for what I was doing because so many times other agents would say, "Oh, what do you do for lead gen?" 'Cause it's a very classic question, like to other realtors. And I would give them a blank stare, and I was like, I don't know what I do for lead gen. I just have clients. And it was like I never had a true response. And then the more I dug into what I was doing, the more I talked to other agents, I finally realized this is what I was doing. But I'd say my break was it was in my second year. I had like a very good Q1, and I was meeting with my broker. Just so we would do like reviews, see how you are, see if you need help with anything like that. And that's when we like he asked like, "Well, where are your clients coming from?" And I was like, and so I checked my database and was like, "Oh, this person was referred to me and this person was referred to me and this person's a repeat client and things like that." And so then that's where I really realized the pattern and then I just like went full on into that.
And that's amazing because I think you've obviously done an extraordinary job in dealing with these people because a home is a very emotional purchase.
Mm.
And to then go above and beyond, giving referrals actually is not that easy for people, but unless they're really, really happy with what you did for them, right? So if that's happening over and over again, you're obviously very emotionally invested in the process with the clients, which is what they feel, I think. And then they want to kind of give back, which is amazing. So that's very, very lovely to hear. So we do a lot of marketing and, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, those kind of conversations because there's a lot of people spending a lot of money getting, leads in and they're essentially cold, they don't know you. And, the conversion rates are typically so low when you're doing real estate because people are just shopping, shopping, shopping online. So I guess your conversion rates then must be completely different to what other people are saying.
Yeah, I would assume so. Because as you said, like it's people are shopping online, right? And I always say everybody knows a realtor. And there's so many times where agents have told me like, "Oh, I had this person." They may not have necessarily been like truly working together where, there's a signed agreement or something, but they're clearly talking. The agent believes they're going to help this person, and then the person comes and goes, "Oh, actually, my brother's girlfriend got her real estate license. We're going to use her." And it's like,
Yeah,
it's always something like that. Like, oh, so and so's uncle actually is a realtor. I'm going to use him.
yeah.
And so that's why it is conversion rates are, I'd say, lower when it is, cold leads and they just find you online. They're clearly shopping around. I'd say I don't want to say 100% of the time because it's not like there are times where it doesn't work out, but nine
Yeah,
out of 10 times, the people who reach out to me are working with me because that's the thing is they reach out to me. They
yeah.
say, "Oh, you worked with so and so. They said I have to use you." And then I'm not even
Wow.
being interviewed. Like
So
they just say,
you're
"Hey, do you have
that,
time?"
that's amazing. So your clients are almost becoming your sales agents. So you actually don't need
Yes,
sales agents because they're selling you
exactly.
to everyone else, which is amazing. And I think it's a lot of credit to you because, the experience can go so many different ways and, that way you've handled it and it's the relationship is so precious that they want to nurture and bring other people to it. So I think then you've gone all in and said, this is the way I do business. I'm a relationship-based salesperson. So just talk me through your sales process then, because, it's obviously very personal, right? So if I was buying a property from you and then we bought a property, what happens? Like, how do you take care of those, moments of truth, so to speak, from then on?
Yeah. So it very much is the client experience. Like you hit that right on the head. Like you have to be good at what you do and you have to provide a good experience for these people to then want to use you again or want to refer you to their loved ones, right?
Yeah,
Because like if you refer someone, then that's kind of on you too, right? Like if
yeah,
I tell someone, "Hey, you have to use Sarah for this," and then Sarah doesn't do a good job, then it comes back on you. But yeah, so when I first meet with people, it really is, it's not transactional at all. It's very much relationship based. it's a two-way street, right? Like you're hiring me to help you, but I'm not your boss, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm here to lend you guidance. I'm here to help you with what your ultimate goals are. And
Hmm.
that's so when we first meet, it's very much figuring out what their goals are, what they need. And then throughout the whole experience, it's very personalized to who I'm working with. And I always say you have to kind of like anticipate your client's needs. Like I never
Yeah.
want them to feel like they don't know what's happening the entire process. They don't know what's next. Like they very much I'm very hands-on, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. And like when I first meet with them, it's like it's going to be me that you talk to the whole way through. Like you're not going to be talking to an assistant, you're not going to be talking to a team member. Like it's very much I'm who you get. I'm available to you when you need me. And yeah, I'd say the keys are being personable and then knowing what their goals are and working towards their goals.
Yeah. And it doesn't look like it's something you have to put on, because you look like somebody who actually genuinely likes the connection and the process. You're not forcing it. And I think people will tell quickly if you're forcing it.
Yeah, so that's the thing is I always say like there's obviously everyone runs their business differently and this model's not going to work for everyone. Um if you're very transactional, right? If you're just like done, deal's done, let's move on. Like it's very much value over volume
Yeah.
is the way that I run my business. And then I always say like because people are very, especially in real estate, are like, how many transactions did you do this year? What's your overall sales volume, like things like that. And it's like, first of all, it depends on the market you're in, right?
Yeah.
Because someone could sell 50 houses in 1 year and someone could sell 12 and they could make the exact same amount of money,
Yeah.
right? Because real estate values are all different over the whole country. So that's one thing where it's like the volume doesn't necessarily translate into your gross commissions. Um,
Yes.
but the biggest thing I like to say is the value that you bring is so much more important than the volume you're doing. But because of that value, you end up doing, I think, more volume than the ones that don't care. Because
Yeah.
we're in a world now where people don't want to be sold to anymore. Like we are so overconsumed and you're being sold to every single day.
I know.
Multiple sources, like wherever you are, every day you're being sold to multiple times. And it's like, especially with real estate, this is such a huge milestone in people's lives, and you get to be a little part of that. And it's like, if you truly care, they can tell. And I'm not here to sell you on buying this house. I'm here to guide you on what
Yeah.
house makes sense.
Yeah. And if it is the right thing for you, it's not,
Yeah.
forcing it. Then there's the whole buyer's regret, like, why did I buy this? And then
Yeah.
usually the blame comes to say, well, Steph made me buy it. That never happens because you're obviously spending that intuitive time understanding what they need and giving them exactly that, which is
Yeah.
amazing. So, what kind of systems do you use? Like, how do you, it gets hard to track, right, after a point. So, how do you manage this?
Yeah, so I have automations and like calendar reminders and things like that. And then it's my CRM. I always say it doesn't matter what CRM you use, it matters that you use it. Like
Yeah.
that's it. You just need a CRM that works for you. When I first started, I just had an Excel like spreadsheet I was using. Um, and like it worked, you just need something that you can track everything. And one of the biggest things, if you want to convert to like a relationship based and referral based, for referrals is tracking your referrals.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's a nice segue into what we're doing with a lot of real estate clients across the US and Canada, because I come from banking and relationship based sales. So it's not very different from, property, because money and property are very, personal things. And that's kind of the systems that we are implementing for real estate agents. The fact that you don't need to think about doing something and it's still a personal message, and we're just kind of cloning what you would do 200 times, for example. So the
Hmm.
birthday messages are going and, hey, what do you think about the property that you saw, etc. So yeah, so we're on the same same frequency in that way. And in terms of the mindset, then I guess for somebody who is a realtor right now, stressed out, things not working, what's your advice to them? What should they do right now?
Yeah, so I always say it's not a one size fits all industry. And when you first get into it, you're very much told basically that, right? It's like you have to do this to be successful. And it's like, well, no, you have to do what works for you and what aligns with you. And when you're truly in alignment with yourself and you're being your authentic self, it's so much easier. Everything is just flows to you. Like that's what I say, like
Oh,
the clients they just flow on in now and I'm not doing anything other than doing my job, right? Like it's
yeah.
nothing extra. But if someone wanted to get into this type of business model, the
Mm-hmm.
first thing you I would tell them is you have to want this type of business model and you have to be someone who truly actually cares for your clients. And if
Yeah.
that's who, you are, the easiest way to get started is to revisit who you've already helped, like your past
Yeah.
clients. And if you haven't kept in touch with them, I find a lot of the times people feel like scared because it's like, oh, I helped so and so buy a house 3 years ago and they haven't heard from me since. And it's like,
Yeah.
you're going to feel awkward reaching out, especially if, say, it's a slow market and they know that and they think like you're just reaching out
Mm,
to try to get business. But I would say I wouldn't be afraid. Like people still like if they had a good experience with you, they're still going to be happy to hear from you. And I would
yeah.
reach out in a way that's absolutely nothing to do with real estate. Like I would reach out to them with something that's valuable to them.
Like what?
So for an example, like I like to stay in touch with clients, but I like to do it in a way it's organic follow-up. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, sometimes obviously it is real estate specific, but for an example, I had clients who you get to know each other and I knew they really liked escape rooms. So there was one that was opening up in their city near them, like in their neighborhood. So I just reached out and said like, "Oh, I know you like escape rooms. Did you see this one's, coming?" And then what you could do is you can give them like a gift if you want to, if it's within your budget. Like for that, it could be, a pass to go to it
Yeah.
or some type of discount or gift card, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I would just do something like that. That's, it it adds value to them and it has absolutely nothing to do with you or your business, right? Like you're just reaching out, you're being a human, you're being nice. And then that's where you can start to rebuild those relationships if you did let them slip.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like taking a minute, looking back and stop, paralysis and analysis and just do something versus not doing anything.
Exactly. Exactly. Nothing's going to change if you don't make that change.
I know. And I think you have beautifully made that transition because a lot of people in the first year would have just said, forget it, this is not for me. And you stuck it out. And then you realize that you're so different from everyone in the market and you stuck it out and said, you know what? I'm not going to try and become somebody that's not true to what I do, which is amazing. Like, and I deal with founders around the world. So once you find that after the comfort zone, it's all blue ocean and calm waters. I think you have that energy of calm beautifully and kudos to you. So I guess how did you now get into mentoring people? And that's again very generous of you to kind of share what's working for you. So how did that happen?
So it actually, I've always said I've been unofficially mentoring agents for like the past 5 years or so because that's how it started was people around me, like in my office or local to me, it was always, Where are your clients coming from? How are you doing this? Like, what is your lead gen?" And then at that point, it was like, well, the referrals or the repeat clients. And then so it was like, well, how are you doing that? And so before I like really honed in on like now it's a system. I have a business model that like is very easily repeatable now. But at the time when I was still kind of like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. And then I kind of focused on it. That's what I would do. I would just give them advice and say, we take a look at what they were doing, what sales they had, what their past clients were like. And it would just be getting to the root of like, well, okay, you helped this person in January. When's the last time you talked to them?
Hmm.
And like just things like that. Um, and then it was earlier this year that I feel like I always say it was just like placed on my heart. Like randomly one day I was like, oh, I should make a resource that other agents and service-based providers can have that it gives them, it's everything. Like this is exactly how you can implement it. And so that's been just this year I started doing that. But yeah, over the past 5 years or so, I've helped other agents, and that's honestly why I got into real estate, not to help other agents, but it was to help people, right? Like
Yeah,
that's why my why is I want to help people, and this is one of the largest transactions you ever make in your life.
true.
Um, and then the fact that I can also help other agents with their business is the cherry on top because as you said, like I think it's 74% is the stat, something like that. Within the first year, you give up. Like, because it is
Yeah,
a hard industry, and a lot of people I think get into it thinking it's like get rich quick
easy.
and it's easy money, and it's not. Like you have to truly build a business and your reputation and your brand. But once you get that, it can be a very easy and lucrative career. And then if you don't drop out in the first year, it's within the first five. There's like another, I don't know the statistics, but a lot give up within the first 5 years. And I was determined that I was like, no, I've wanted to be a realtor since I was 12 years old. I'm not giving up. And now I'm 7 years in. So we did
I
it.
mean, amazing, because I think you're so soft and beautiful, but you're so strong for sticking it out, for being out of your
Thank you.
comfort zone. And for everybody who's watching, I will put the link below for the resource that you're talking about, Steph. So anybody who's listening to it, if they want to reach out and get that, they can get in touch with you. So that's just amazing. And I think there's only success ahead. The way you're playing the game and the
Mm,
way you really address challenges and the way you're giving back. That's all I can say because I can't see how anything can stop you. You're a formidable force in real estate, in operating in your own beautiful niche. So thank you so much for sharing all this with us and with everyone who's listening. And hopefully that sparks a conversation about, how they work with you or how they change their business model or if they want to change how they operate as a business, etc. So I'll put all the links in below and we'll check the feedback. And if we have anything specific that people want to know about, we might get you back on and do a little bit more of a detailed deep dive on it.
okay. Yeah. Thank you. That sounds awesome.
Awesome. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Steph.
Thank you.